Okay, hey, we're live. I don't know if anyone here yet. It doesn't look like there is, but I have lots of questions today. More submitted questions today than we've had the probably the entire year. So we'll start, and if people join us, that's great. And if they don't, well, they can watch it at a later time, right? So, couple things, quick, just overview of class. Thought it was a great class. Really enjoyed it. I love the fact that we're really understanding time value of money. It seemed like people were getting it. I thought very, very well. Much better than a normal first-time pass at time value of money stuff, which is rather challenging for many people. So I was really excited about that. Um, Many questions on quizzes and assignments, etc. So yes, quiz and assignments, first of all, are the same. I call them quizzes. The MindTap calls them assignments, so they are assignments. On my syllabus, they're quizzes, but anyways. So the first quiz, obviously, first assignment has been done. I already collected everyone. 44 people took it, so I still had 2 people that apparently did not take it. Not sure if they haven't registered yet or what, but there's 2 people that needed to take it, or they're no longer coming to class, which is possible as well. The average was an 84.3, which I thought was really good, much higher than it tends to be for many of my tests and quizzes, so that was a good thing. Then the next coming up, as I said in class, the chapter 2, I never assigned it, and there was some whatever. It was supposed to be due last week, never assigned it, so technically you have until the 22nd, which is next week, to turn that one in. Also, you have chapter 4, which is also due the 22nd. Had a question on, we're not doing chapter 3. No, we're not. Can you do it for extra credit? Sure. Not going to hurt. Do it for extra credit, or excuse me, it will also clearly help you for the test. I just thought it was excuse me, one of the easier chapters, and I didn't see a whole lot of point in doing it, but hey, if you want to, if it'll help you, by all means, feel free. Then also, just coming up, we'll do chapter 5 on the quiz is not due. Even we're in chapter 5, we did chapter 5 already. We're going to do it again this coming week. Chapter 5's quiz is due the 29th. So that's where that is. Chapter 6, we probably won't do the quiz, assignment, whatever you want to call it. And we will then jump back into chapter 7, which is bond pricing and bond valuation. And that will be due October 1st, I think it is. That's not a possible date. October 6th, I guess it is. So that's where those things stand. Hopefully, we'll just quickly go through them again, and I will write this up for you as well. But chapter 2 and 3 are due this week. Chapter 5. Try again. I'm strong. Sorry. Chapters 2 and 4 are due this week, the 22nd. If you do chapter 3, it's extra credit. Help you study for the test, etc., but not needed. Chapter 5 is due the 29th. And then chapter 7, we're not doing chapter 6, chapter 7 will be due the October 6th. So at that point, we're probably going to have to pick a date for a test. October is going to be a really weird month, one of the weirder months, especially when you have classes only once a week. Just for timing purposes, we have fall break. So that's taking a week out. That's October 13th. And then the following week we will have class. The week after that is the Finance Club trip to New York City. So we will not, I will not be here that day. We may have to class. In fact, what I'm actually thinking is we may want to push the test back that far. We'll talk about that on Monday. That's a decision you guys are going to have to make. We'll probably take a vote on it. If you want to push it back that far, then the 2 tests will be close together. We will be covering a lot of material before then. I don't care if we have the test October 6th or October 27th. I can see positives for both of them, so we'll decide that. So anyways, quizzes and assignments, probably the most questions I had this week. So other questions I had. Looking at time value of money, when do you use perpetuities? When do you use annuities? Annuities are when it's a set period of time. Perpetuity when it goes on forever. Growing perpetuity if the cash flow is different and it goes on forever. So just real fast, perpetuity forever, growing perpetuity forever, but cash flow changing. An annuity or growing annuity is for a set period of time, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, whatever. Other question, when do you use monthly interest rates versus when you use annual interest rates? There, the easy answer is be consistent. If the cash flows are occurring monthly, you use monthly interest rates. If the cash flows are occurring quarterly, you use quarterly. If the cash flows are occurring annually, you use annually. So whenever the cash flows determine what interest rate you use. So in the example we used in class, 12%, you just divide, I guess it was 6% divided by 12, and you had 0.005. So just make sure you make that adjustment for the cash flows, for the interest rate. Other questions here. Leverage and debt. And asked to go over the chart on the page 141. Wait, let me pull that out again. I think I'm on the wrong page. All right, so on page 106, table 4.1. So question 4.1. Oh, good. Yeah, this is a good one, actually. Table, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to see this, but just so I'll quickly do what you're looking at. Up here, you have a firm with no debt. Down below, you have a firm with debt, and it's cash flows, income statement for the two, and just see what's going on. And the key thing for this, by far the key for this, is the magnifying effect of debt. Debt is leverage. Leverage, and they're interchangeable. So debt is going to make good times great and bad times horrible. So you can see in this chart, and in this, I don't know if you're going to be able to read that, but in good times, in state of the economy is good, and there's no debt, this is unleveraged, the return on equity was 27%. If we go the same situation, leveraged, but there's now some debt, same everything, same state of the economy, we see that the return, which was 27% up here, jumps to 48% down here. So that's because debt makes good times great. 48% is better than 27. It's a magnifier, however you want to look at it. On the other hand, debt makes bad times, where when there was no debt, the firm made zero. Horrible. At this point, we lost 10%. So debt is just a magnifier, and leverage and debt, they're used interchangeably, same term, just we will see that all the time, that there is a magnifier. Another question here asked about the role of taxes. How would taxes influence your decision to use or to issue debt? Taxes, the easy main point of this is that to a corporation, interest is deductible. So essentially, if you want to think of it, the government is willing to pay some of your debt. So the higher the corporate tax rate, the more likely you are to issue debt rather than issue equity. Everything else being equal, higher taxes, higher corporate taxes lead to higher leverage ratio at corporate levels. Next question, I wasn't exactly sure what it meant. In what case will we be able to tell that inventory turnovers will generate increase in profit margins or decrease in profit margins? So I guess we fall back here to a Latin term which we don't talk a lot about, but it's ceteris paribus. Sometimes abbreviated CP. Ceteris paribus means holding all else equal. Holding all else equal, the more inventory turnover, the higher the inventory turnover, the higher the profitability. That is always true. If you have inventory that's turning very, very quickly, you are going to have higher profit margins, or not higher profit margins. You're going to have higher profit. Profit margins are another story, and typically profit margins go up as inventory turns go down. So there's an inverse relationship there. But the question was asking just on inventory turnover. So inventory turnover, the higher the inventory turnover, the more profitable the firm is, holding other things the same, okay, or holding other things constant. I think that answered all of the questions in that email. Let's go back and we'll do a few others. Um, I already addressed that. The terms question and I say the quizzes and assignments. So what I had been calling a quiz is actually called an assignment in um, MindTap. This question I already answered as well. I've already spent time doing it. So yeah, chapter 3, we'll give you some extra credit for it. That'd be great. And I think those were the majority of my questions that had submitted here. Make sure I didn't miss any. Where are we in the book? I did miss one. So we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are in chapter 5. We are going to do chapter 5 again. I think it is the most important chapter in the book. So we're going to spend most of the class on Monday, this coming Monday, on it again. We're going to do some more practice problems. Hopefully, we will obviously the homework assignment which I posted, looking at when you start saving, if you save early, if you save late. We will spend some time on that. After that, we are going to spend, and if you want to read a chapter just to get a little ahead, we're going to spend some time on chapter 6, but we're not going to spend an awful lot of time on chapter 6. Chapter 6 is important. It's more of an economics chapter. Read it for now. Understand it. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. There's no homework assignment on this chapter. However, it is important for the next chapter of Chapter 7 in pricing bonds. So understand Chapter 6. Read it. The following week, the assignment will be to read Chapter 7. We are going to jump into Chapter 7. We're not going to spend a lot of time on Chapter 6 now. So if later in the year we have time to come back to it, we may. But my plan was to spend more time on Chapters 5 and 7. 6, sort of a sandwich chapter, we'll spend a little time on, but not a ton. So other things that people have asked about, I think that was about it. Importance of compounding, obviously. We're looking at in a retirement setting. Same thing would be hold true if you're reversed though. If you owe money, think credit card debt or something, and the more compounding periods there is working against you. So that's why it's very tough to be making minimum payments. Takes forever to pay off your loan. I think those were pretty much it. I will just go back just because a couple people had asked after class the other day, or before class actually. It was a different class, but they were asking about 301 questions. Ratios, which ratios are important? Yes, they are important. There is no set ratio that I tell you is more or less important. It's what you're looking for. If you are looking at the firm's capital structure, well, PE ratio isn't going to tell you much. On the other hand, debt to equity will tell you an awful lot. If you want to know how the company is valued, PE ratios, price to book ratios will tell you a lot, but debt ratios might not tell you anything at all. So depends what you're looking at. Ratios are tools. Ratios are, you don't use the same tool for every single job. If you're cutting down a tree, you don't use a hammer. But if you're driving a nail, you're not going to use a chainsaw. So I would think ratios are the exact same type. I mean, there's lots of different ratios. To get a good feeling for the overall firm, you're going to need to know them all. You're going to need to understand, all the equity value ratios, the PE ratios, etc. You're going to have to understand profitability. You're going to have to understand asset management, and you're going to have to look at liquidity. So all of them fit together. So. Anyways, I think that's all my questions I've had. No one has submitted any questions that I see. Let me check my phone to make sure. No. So, all right. Well, that was a quick one. I was actually expecting more people here. Just as long as I have your attention, I will say this Friday we are going to have a pretty big discussion on ethics in SIM at 12:30 in the Finance Forum. Including Tom Cullen from Chicago, a former graduate here, alum, who will be talking via Google Hangout, so you can watch this right at the same place. But also we will have, I think, I'm not quite willing to say publicly, but I'm going to anyways, former CEO of Citibank will be here, and I guess he's still current. He's in the process of stepping down, but he's still CEO. Mr. McQuaid will be here speaking and or at least watching. I'm not sure how much he's going to talk, but he will be here on campus. So probably want to come. Probably want to get a little more dressed up than a normal one. Not, I'm not going to get super dressed up, but business casual surely wouldn't hurt. So also coming up next week on the 23rd, which is Tuesday, we'll have the Meet the Financial Executive Night. Great thing to take your resume to, talk to people, network, see for jobs, internships. Oh, and by the way, you get some extra credit for it. So those are all good things, and I think that's all I got. So thank you. Hope you got something out of it. Hope the class is going well. If it's not, let me know. Right now, I'm thrilled with it. In fact, I talked to Brian McCannon, the department chair, the other day, and said I'm just having a blast. I think it's a fun class to teach, and you guys are doing great. So keep it up, and we will talk soon.